Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Saturday night edition of LFC Transfer Room's YouTube show. This is the match preview, and it's a Saturday night, and we all know what a Saturday night means. It's quiz night. So I hope you get your pens, your pads, and your paper all ready to join in with us as we talk all things Liverpool, all things Nottingham Forest, and of course, all things quizzical. Thank you all for joining us on this Saturday. We will be going for around about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the topics and the flow. But yeah, just sit back, enjoy, and thanks for joining us. So I'm going to start then with the match preview. It's a big game, isn't it, Colin, for the Reds up against Nottingham Forest. We've seen Arsenal win earlier today. We saw Tottenham extend their lead to 5 points as it was last night at the top of the table as well, which means that Liverpool really have to bank a win, don't they? Especially with Newcastle just slipping up 2-2. It's just finished there at Molineux.
Yeah, and I mean, we really do. And if you think about it from a perspective of trying to keep up with everybody else, then it puts an extra pressure. But even just from if you were just looking at a list, of the fixtures and comparing it to the table, it's a game that you got to win. The teams that are below, I think the teams that are below 8th or anywhere around or below are not very good this year, I don't think. And I think that those teams need to be having 3 points taken off them. So
yeah, I agree. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned the standard of the league, because it seemed like last year anyone could beat anyone, and they did in the main. Even the relegation scrap that went down to the final day. I think the drop off this season, and I don't know whether that's investment from clubs or the quality of the clubs that have come up. Yeah. Forest don't seem to be, Lou, as maybe surprising as last year, maybe as good attacking wise as last year. I think there's definitely been a drop off with Forest as well, as we have seen with other clubs as well. I mean, is that something you'd agree with, that Colin said we do have to win it? But actually it's a game that we should probably win quite capably.
Yeah, definitely. I have suffered with injuries, to be fair. I mean, our knee's out now. Hudson-Odoi's been injured. Origi's injured. I think the problem with Forest is they've tried to bring in too many players too soon, and it's just, last season it worked really well, and this year it's just not. It's not clicking. It's not gelling. I do agree. I think the gap now between sort of the top 10 and the bottom 10 is growing as time goes on. Maybe it's investment, maybe it's just the quality of players they're getting in. It's hard to say, really. But Forest, yeah, it's a game we should be winning. If it was away from home, I'd be a bit more nervous. I know we lost there last season, so it's one of those things, really. But realistically, we should be going there, and we should be taking 3 points off anyone other than arguably City. So.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal seem to be going well. They obviously smashed the lads today 5-0. And do you think Arsenal will take some stopping, Lou? Do you think Arsenal are going to be up there as well, or do you think maybe that they'll fall away a little bit?
No, they'll be up there. They won't. I think it'll get to a point though where City have it in them, where they can go on and win 15 games in a row. We have it in us that we can do the same thing. Arsenal definitely can. They did at the start of last season. I mean, they had 49 points in the first half or something daft, but I don't know. I see them fading a bit. They do have a squad capable. I do think they are dangerous and they are going to be pushing for the title. I just don't think it's going to be across the whole season. I think it is going to start to fade. Injuries are starting to catch up with them now because they're using the same players over and over again. Jesus is out. Martinelli is getting a few more knocks. Saka's even starting to get knocks now. So, one or two big injuries. They lose Saliba again like they did last season, and you could see them drop 2-3 places maybe. They're rarely dependent on certain players.
Yeah, and I think Liverpool's squad depth is better this season than what it was last season. Obviously, that midfield is a country mile better, but the actual depth behind it as well does seem a bit more superior. Jay made a really good point. Right now, teams are getting their points, and Liverpool. It does add pressure when they play on a Sunday. I always think, actually, as much as I hate the 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday, especially after an international break, actually, you can just sit back and watch the rest of the weekend, Colin. Does Sunday have that added pressure, especially seeing though Arsenal have won and Spurs have won, but actually does it add pressure knowing that Newcastle have dropped points too?
Absolutely, it does. Luckily, I think that a big hallmark of Jurgen Klopp teams is really kind of, I think, responding to pressure well, and using it as a springboard rather than, feeling like it's weighing you down. I think that certainly is something that last season that weighed us down, and it looked like we would feel the pressure whenever it would mount. And I think prior to that, it was something that that we really kind of like relished in and really liked the pressure and like being the team to respond to it. And we were having a little debate in the chat before, yesterday, I think, about whether or not Tottenham are any good, and kind of about the top 4, top 6. The thing is, I think with the standard of the league right now, I'm just looking at the table. So United are in 8th, and I think they're hot garbage. Like, I've watched a bit of them. Like, I've watched quite a bit of them play, probably second most of anybody else. They're on constantly here in the States.
Yeah, and also you watch them because you want to see them lose. That's the only reason why I watch them. I just pray that they're going to lose.
Yeah, they're terrible. They should be. They're at least 4 points higher than they should be. They've gotten a win from a losing position, and they've gotten a tie from a losing position. And the thing with like Tottenham being in first is that I don't think you can count them out until they start losing, until they start really dropping the points. I don't think necessarily that they're, that they are actually the best team or going to be able to keep it up as a personal viewpoint, but they keep winning and they keep, beating up on and getting points from teams in the bottom 10. And, and we kind of see with the Arsenal game today that, definitely the standard of the bottom 5 are they're terrible. They're really, really bad. I think Sheffield United are really awful. So there's points to be gotten for any teams, I think, in the top 6. Like, you can really go on a stretch, and as long as you're not running into City, City in the stretch, or against Arsenal in the stretch, I think some of those teams can really take a lot of points.
Neil, thanks for joining us. I can see you're outside Anfield now. Atmosphere good out there already, building up.
Yeah, and the rain has stopped, which is great. But yeah, atmosphere building for a big game tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's a strange game. I would think at 2:00 Sunday. I mean, it's a little bit. I don't know. Just 2:00 on a Sunday just feels like an odd time to have a kickoff time.
Yeah, I think there would probably be a little bit more atmosphere in the later game, the 4:30 kickoff. But I think we benefit from the fact that we're in the Europa League and players have had a decent rest. We managed to rest more or less everybody, and even the ones that started on Thursday that will start on Sunday probably came off after an hour. So, yeah, you just hope that they've got that bit between their teeth, that they don't need anything to motivate them. They've got that built within them, like we saw over recent years with this team, where they just went out and got the job done. A bit of competition for places doesn't do any harm to that as well. So yeah, ideally it's not the best kickoff time, but I'm sure a good start for the game, hopefully, and we should get the job done.
Right, lads, it's before we get on to our midfield chat, it's time to get out the pen and paper. Everybody else listening and watching, can you please refrain from putting the answers into the chat, because Colin, Neil and Lou will all steal your answers and ideas, and we don't want that to happen. Okay, so absolutely no Googling. You are going to have 45 seconds. This is my favourite round. And Neil and Colin, Lou, I'm afraid, have a bit of an edge on you because I am quite predictable in the questions that I ask, especially before a match preview. These are double agents, and these are players in the Premier League era, because football only started in 1992, remember, just in the Premier League era, who played for Forest and Liverpool. Okay, it doesn't have to be in the Premier League, because we know that Nottingham Forest haven't been there for a while. Welcome back, though. But just since 1992, who are the 10 players who have played for both Forest and Liverpool? I will give you 45 seconds on the clock, because I've been talking for about 20 seconds while you've all been scribbling, because you're dirty little cheats. And for everybody else into the chat, your time started, by the way. Everyone else in the chat, please do not put the answers in until that 45 seconds is up, because they'll definitely be stealing your answers. Okay, we'll go 3 points for top, 2 for second, and 0 whoever comes last, because that's what you should get if you come last. Okay, so everybody else, we are looking for double agents, players who have played for Liverpool and Nottingham Forest since 1992. There are 10 of them. Okay, 10 of them since 1992. You've got 10 seconds left. It was a really tricky one, actually. When I was doing this, I always do it on Sporkle first to see how many I got, and I got 5. So it is quite a tricky one. Okay, your time is up. And we'll go around the clock. So we'll go to Lou, then Neil and Colin. How many have you got, Lou?
Don't want to say. God, I'm from Liverpool. I swear to God, I only got 2.
2. Okay, Neil?
I've got 4.
You got 4, Colin?
3.
3. Okay, right. Neil, since you've got 4, then let's see if your 4 are correct. And if they are, you obviously take the points, but then we'll hear from Colin and Lou as well. Okay, go for it.
Neco Williams,
Correct.
Divock Origi,
Correct.
Stan Collymore,
Yeah.
Nigel Clough.
Yes, well done. Yeah, 44 appearances for Liverpool, Nigel Clough. Everyone forgets to play for Liverpool, don't they? He's such a Forest legend. So, yeah, very good. Well done. Lou, who were the 2 you had?
You got Awoniyi and Nico Williams.
There's 11 because I missed out Awoni. So, yeah, well done.
Well, I
Colin?
don't think he played, though, has he, in the Premier League for Liverpool?
Oh, no. Well, yeah, maybe not.
Well, he was.
He
never-
He was.
I don't
He was
think
at
it's
the
a grey
team.
line.
He was at the team.
Yeah. But
Look,
I would have
I got
given
the
you
least
that.
anyway. It doesn't.
Yeah, I would have given
doesn't
you it, Lou. I
matter.
would have given you it. Colin?
I had Divock, Nico Williams, and Tayo Iwani.
Okay, well, it goes Nigel Clough, Stan Collymore. I'm going to leave one until last because I didn't know this. Lee Peltier, Jack Hobbs, Paul Konchesky, Jack Robinson, Danny Ayala was the one that I got. Nico Williams, Divock Origi. And the one I left out was Nick Barmby, also played for Forest.
I
So,
forgot Konchesky played for them. That's
That was
so
tough.
annoying.
Tough one.
Yes. So it was tough, actually. Sometimes the double agent ones are dead obvious. You could just say Robbie Keane for most of them, but certainly not for Forest and Liverpool. So yeah, that was a tricky one. So we've got Neil with 3 points, Colin in 2, and Lou on 0
No,
so far.
I've
Someone
got
else keep
4.
hold of the scores.
I got 4.
You get 3 points.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 points for a win, 2 for seconds, and 0 for nothing. So you guys keep hold of the scores because I'll always forget them. Okay, but thanks for everyone else for joining into and not putting the answers in. I did accidentally boot someone from the channel once. I meant to mute them and I actually kicked them off the whole channel. And that was not taken lightly. So I do apologise, but rules are rules. Right, midfield then. Who starts in midfield, Colin? We'll go the other way around this time. Who starts in midfield for you?
I think 2 are nailed on, and I think 1 is the real up for debate. I think Szoboszlai and McAllister are nailed on, absolutely guaranteed to start. If I had to guess someone at the moment, I would probably say Gravenberch. I think the other one is Curtis Jones.
Still banned.
I think
Curtis Jones.
Oh, is he? Is this the 3rd game then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then it's definitely. I think it'll be Gravenberch then. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think Paul Lindo and Jay also agree with that. Neil, who are your 3?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. It's McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch.
Okay, Lou?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would like to see Endo get a game, but I think with Forest being the fact they're probably going to sit deep, try and hit us on the counter, there's not much necessity for having an out-and-out defensive-minded number 6 in this game. I think we need someone who's going to be able to pick a pass like McAllister. So I think Gravenberch, obviously McAllister, is probably going to be the way we go.
Yeah, I think I would love to be controversial and say now I would start Endo and I would give Szoboszlai a well-needed break. But I think you play players who were in form, and I think you play players who have been performing well. And Endo did perform really well, I thought, the other night. But I just think those 3 are probably also going to be the future. Which also, I suppose, brings me to Paul's point here. Birch at the 6 or McAllister? Lou, I'll go back round.
It's tricky. I'd say McAllister only because we've seen him as a number 6, and he's not dreadful. He's not great by any means, but we've not seen Gravenberch as a number 6 yet, and I think it's a bit of a, you know how it'd go. We put him at number 6, Forest score a lucky goal, they win, and then suddenly it's Gravenberch can't be number 6. He's terrible. I'd rather stick McAllister there where he's at least played a little bit and let Gravenberch get forward. And I think as well going forward, he's a bit more of a physical threat. He might offer a bit more if they're sitting back really deep, someone who's just going to ping it from distance and have a go. And Gravenberch has that in him. We haven't seen that from McAllister just yet. So, yeah, I'd rather see McAllister further back, I think.
Gravenberch's dynamism since he's actually, I was going to say the other night, but actually it's since he's played for Liverpool, his stride length is absolutely unreal. His ball control is on another level. I think that you'd probably waste him there at a 6. Neil, just how impressed have you been with Ryan Gravenberch since he's been bled in, I would say, to the squad? He didn't come in straight away like Szoboszlai and McAllister and started most games and every game they are involved, apart from, I think actually McAllister and Zob have been on every game, haven't they, actually? So how impressed have you been with Gravenberch, who have come in slowly into the squad?
Really impressed, and I think he offers something quite different certainly to what we had last season. I think you used the word dynamism, and I think that's a really good word to use. When we played Bayern pre-season, I watched him. He came on, I think, for the last 20 minutes or half an hour, and you could see that he runs beautifully with the ball. He's very good, close control, and he can beat players. And I think with every game, we're seeing more and more of the talent that he's that he can offer. So for me, he's an automatic starter at the moment. I think he offers a real goal threat. I think he looks creative in and around the box. He's had, I think, 2 goals, 2 assists, and he's 21 years old. So the ceiling on him is very, very high, and I think he's playing with a smile on his face. He looks confident, and physically, if you're going to have him on the left and Szoboszlai on the right, they're both real specimens to be playing against and difficult to play against in midfield. So, yeah, I'm delighted. I'm delighted with him, and probably people were a bit sceptical about his signing, not because they weren't impressed with him at Ajax, because he was very, very good at Ajax, but because of his spell at Bayern Munich. And I think people are now coming around to the realization that we may even have got ourselves a bit of a bargain. So very impressed, and he must start for me on the left tomorrow.
I think as well, it's it's if you would have said to people 2 years ago, right, do you want Ryan Gravenberch? Everyone would have jumped at the chance. Yes, 100%. And because of the Caicedo bid failed and then the Lavia bid failed, it seemed like Gravenberch was, oh, okay, right. But actually, if we would have signed him from Ajax, people would have been clamoring for that signing because he was so good for Ajax. And he never lost that ability or potential or skill. He just wasn't able to show it at a very difficult team to break into at Bayern Munich. And as soon as Thomas Tuchel, who at the start of the window wanted to keep him, and then towards the end of the window, okay, I'm open to offers, Klopp banged down that door apparently, and in he came. Colin, with Gravenberch being so impressive, McAllister not playing in his natural position, but he's a World Cup winner, and he pulled the strings apart, with Messi in that Argentina midfield in the World Cup. If we did bring in a 6, and Paul actually says if Andre comes in January, but regardless if Andre comes in or not, if we sign a 6, surely that makes McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones, let's not forget who's had a fantastic start to the season and back end of last season, and Gravenberch's position in jeopardy. Now, yes, you can rotate 4, 5, 6 players is perfect for what we want to do, but I think players like Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch want to be playing every single game, and that's when they get their confidence every single game. Do you think actually signing a 6 is what's needed in January?
I would say probably yes. I think it still is needed, although it does raise good questions about, then all of a sudden we have 3 players who play that, specifically the left side, not exclusively, but it seems to be their best position is that left side at 8. And then it leaves 3 of them. So does that kind of pull into question, the starting position? I think so. I don't know if, we haven't seen McAllister play there really. And I think he's doing a pretty good job of kind of, doing what the club is needed of him at the moment rather than necessarily what he really wants to be doing. I think Van Dijk alluded to that after the last Premier League game, which was kind of like, hey, he's kind of grinding one out for the team at the moment. Yeah, I think you would not want to, and as the season progresses, I think you would really not want to overuse Gravenberch. He's still 21 years old. I would worry that if he's playing every single game without any sort of rotation, I think that long term that probably is not great for someone at that age. We've kind of brought up that question before about, maybe about other midfielders' health, kind of long term, if the game minutes are that high that early. I think maybe long term it brings in more questions about playing time. If everybody in the midfield would be brought in, this year, say, and we get to 2 years down the line, someone has to play and someone has to be out. Someone's going to be on the bench. So I think maybe long term that would kind of bring into play the form of week out without. But now you play and you play the guys who are really playing best at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Quiz round number 2. Pens and papers out, although this is going to be the fastest finger first, okay? Because there's not a list this time, okay? What I'm looking for, and as soon as you are ready, you have to shout the name of a former Liverpool player. So there's a little bit of a twist to it as well, a former Liverpool player. Once you have the answer, that's what you do. I need to know, and the world needs to know, on Saturday, the 22nd of April, 2023, at 3 p.m. UK local time at Anfield, Liverpool beat Forest 3-2. I need the 3 goal scorers. As soon as you think you've got it, shout out a former Liverpool player's name. Everyone else in the chat, please do not say anything.
No one. Oh.
Diogo Jota.
You got to say former Liverpool's name and give all 3.
Sorry?
You got to give a former Liverpool player's name and then give me all 3.
I probably didn't listen to the question properly.
Yeah, I don't think you did.
So just read it again.
No, I just need the 3 goal scorers. But as soon as you've got all 3, you have to say a former Liverpool player's name instead of just saying like Buzz. I tried to make it really fun, Neil, but you've just ruined the whole thing.
Yeah, sorry.
Voronin.
Oh, I love it. Bit of Andre Voronin. Go on then, Lou.
I don't know why that popped in my head. It was Jota, and then I think the other one was Salah, but I'm not 100% convinced.
Yeah, so there's 2 out of the 3.
Barmby.
Go on then, on the subject of Barmby.
Jota and Salah too.
Nope. You're frozen out.
No. Oh, right.
Lou, you're not frozen out. You can still go because you only gave 2.
Oh, we're not. Okay, Jermaine Pennant. It was Jota got 2. Jota got 2, and then Salah got the 1. I remember now. Yeah,
it was well done. Yeah, Jota on the 47th, the 55th, and Salah on the 70th. Yeah, very good. Well done. I'm looking at the names.
I'm sure Jota got 2. I was like, I'm sure there wasn't 3.
Yeah, that's why. So yeah, well done. Okay, so I suppose only 3 points for that one. So Lou just takes a slight lead there on 5 points, Neil on 3, and Colin, you really need to pull your finger out, buddy, because you've only
I have no recollection of that game last year. I don't know, and I definitely watched it, but I've got it just is not there anymore. That's fine.
3-2 it was as well, so it's a fairly tough game. Neco Williams actually scored against us as well, which was quite nice. Nice for him. And Morgan Gibbs-White was the other Forest goal scorer. Right, let's talk about Darwin Nunez then, because we saw him drop to the bench midweek, and Cody Gakpo came in, which was a little bit of a surprise. But then we also saw what Darwin Nunez was all about, the good, the bad, and the ugly as well. Lou, does Darwin Nunez start this game for you?
100%. I think Gakpo is just coming back from the injury. And and I don't think his play style would suit this game anyway. Forest, as I've said before, I think they're going to sit a bit deeper. Gakpo's role is to sort of come deep for us and draw players to him to create space for the wide players like Diaz and Salah. They're not going to do that. They're not going to fall for it. I think they're going to stay compact. They're going to stay grouped together. Nunez is going to bring that physicality of being the target man and being able to create danger in the box, not halfway between the box and the halfway line. And I think as well, this is the type of game where we might be struggling to get in their area, in their box. Nunez will just have a go because he's not afraid. He's willing to just have a go from wherever, and he's been so good this season. He's playing under two of the best managers there are in Klopp and Bielsa. The way he's been conducting himself is just he deserves to be the regular starter, I think, or at least at the moment while Gakpo's injured. Forest have a very physical team. Willy Bolly, is one in particular. I just think Nunez, defenders seem scared of him. They don't know what to do. They don't know whether to go at him. They don't know whether to back up. They don't know whether to group on him because then you give space to the wide play. He throws a spanner in the works and no one knows how to defend against them just yet. So utilize it while we still can before teams start to suss it out and work out how to play against them.
Neil, are you in agreement with Lou, or do you think there is a space in the squad maybe for Cody Gakpo, or in the team? Sorry, not squad.
No, I think the tactical reasons that Lou called out, I think are one reason why he should start. But I also think he looks like he's on the verge of catching fire, because I think he's looked incredibly sharp. He's working really hard, which was the criticism of him earlier in the season. And he's involved in something, whether it's a goal, whether it's an assist. And I just think we've got to embrace it while he looks like he's in that form and throw him in. So from a tactical perspective, I think it makes sense, and from a form perspective, I think it makes sense as well. So 100% he should start, and I'm convinced at some point he is going to go on a run of scoring an absolute bundle of goals, and I don't think that's far around the corner.
Nunez probably could go on a run of scoring a bundle of goals if he could learn how to score a tap in as well. So, yeah, absolutely. He's definitely got it in his locker. He does the hard things simply, and the simply things hard. So, Colin, do you also agree with the verdicts? And if you do, just summarise what Darwin Nunez has been like this season. If you can, it's a tall task.
Yeah, I do. And the biggest point for me in reason why I think it is because of Gakpo's previous injury. I think if he is not coming off an injury and was totally fine for 70 minutes, I could see Gakpo getting the start. But just with the limited time that he's had, it just wouldn't make any sense. He's a good option off the bench as well, I think. The Darwin Nunez experience thus far has been chaotic. In what I see as the best way. I think that his chaos and his unpredictability lends to what Lou and Neil were kind of pointing out, which is he's tricky, he's difficult, and it looks like if he can figure one or two things out, that he's going to go on an absolute tear. And I think his physicality, his pace against the team like this, who are gonna really try to defend a lot, is just, it's gonna wear them down. I would maybe not be ultra surprised if he were to maybe either not get a goal or get an assist, and then later in the game kind of after we've kind of worn them down, either get one later or whomever the sub is really get one or two. I think that's a real big point that we try to exploit, is really try to use the physicality of the players that we have to grind down teams and to wear them down. And I think the late goals that we scored kind of, I think, point to that.
Yeah, and it's not just the goals that he scores as well. He's really, really important actually when it comes to assists, and excluding the Ryan Gravenberch assist that hit the post, him and Salah just seem to have an unreal chemistry. And I'm talking unreal. It's like levels of Kane and Son, of Drogba and Lampard all over again. They just seem telepathic with where both of them are running to. And Salah seems more than happy, as he always has done in his Liverpool career, to lay on the goals as well as score them, Lou. So I think with Darwin Nunez, he's not a Haaland that everyone tries to compare him. And again, yes, they both came in the same window, but I think that's probably where the comparisons end, because Haaland is an absolute goal machine. But I think Nunez is more than that, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. See, the thing with Haaland, I understand he should win the Ballon d'Or for me, just for I get onto Nunez. But
100%.
I think Haaland's in a team where he's going to get about 5 chances a game. Sterling was getting 20-odd goals a season for them, and we've seen he's not the best finisher. So I think that's just why Haaland gets so many goals. With regards to Nunez, I wouldn't class him as like a striker, an out-and-out striker, because he's just in magnitude of different positions. 1 minute he's tracking all the way back to centre backs like a centre forward. Then he's on the right wing. Then he's on the left. Then he's in the middle. He's just versatile. And I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he should be scoring this. Should be scoring that." He's 23. Like he's young, and the energy he's got is just. He's a much more mobile player than Haaland. I would say Haaland's a bit physically stronger, but maybe not by a mile. And I'm not saying that he's up to that level yet, not by any means, but he has the ability to contribute more to the overall team rather than it be get the ball to me and I'll score. He's a provider and the goal scorer. And I think that's what our players have been over the past 7 years, 8 years with Klopp. Mane did it, Firmino did it, Salah does it, Diaz and Jota do it. Like it's not about one player having 30-odd goals. It's about them having. I'd rather someone with 15 goals and 15 assists than 30 goals and no assists. Like he's a team contributor, and that's, I think, the main difference between him and Haaland. One's a goal scorer, one's a goal scorer and a provider.
Yeah, and when we talk about Nunez, I think something that straight away I know that Liverpool fans in the Charity Shield when he scored the header to make it 3-1, I think it was a couple of years ago. Everyone was chanting Nunez, but that's carried on because I think, Neil, that heart and desire and the passion that he has for Liverpool Football Club, the fans supporting him from day one, and he sees that. And you see Nunez quite often actually like pounding his chest, or he's touching the badge, or he's always going over and he's showing his shirt to all of the travelling fans. That he just gets Liverpool. He just understands Liverpool. And I think when he first came in, Klopp did openly criticise him, saying he's not tracking back enough. Now, I would say he's one of our best trackers. Again, when he came in, his ball control was not up to scratch, if I'm honest. I thought his first touch sometimes was a little bit ropey. He did the simple things, like I said, he didn't really do them very well. Watching him the other night, it was like he had the ball on a string. His ball control was improved. And as Lou said, he's 23 years old. He has come on leaps and bounds in just 1 year. He doesn't get as many minutes as the main strikers, let's say, in the Premier League for other teams. But that's because Liverpool have such a wealth of talent around them that it is sort of horses for courses. But I mean, talk to me about Darwin Nunez, into what he can do, what he can offer, and perhaps where he can go as well.
Again, I think he's a player with a massively high ceiling, because I think he's got some unique attributes that isn't readily available too frequently. So if he can tighten up those areas of his game, and I think his touch is one of them. The other night, when he took on that defender and he went around the keeper, technically it was brilliant. All right, he didn't finish the goal. That's so be it. So yeah, I do agree that technically he's improved his hold-up play and bringing other people into the game. There was one scary moment where he ran back and the crowd were loving it. He ran back, won the ball, and then almost just left it. And it was like, what are you doing? But then he realised what was going on, because I think the crowd made a noise and he won the ball and moved forward with it. So he is a very emotional player that sparks a really positive response from the fans. I'm sure when he's in and around Liverpool, he's getting treated, so well, and he will love it. And I think we've seen first season Nunez, and Klopp, to be fair to Klopp, when he signed him, he said this guy is not the finished article. He is very much a work in progress, and he needs to be given time. So we saw the first season Nunez. there was a run in the middle of the season where he was really, really good. Some of it was a bit hit and miss. This season, he's a bit tidier in his play, definitely. And he's contributing big goals. The Newcastle ones obviously are the ones that stand out. He has built up that understanding with Salah, and I think he's kicked on again, and I think he'll continue to kick on, and that's why I think at some point he's going to catch fire, and he's going to be absolutely lethal in terms of the number of goals he gets. You look at him compared to Haaland. Haaland really is a finisher, doesn't get too much involved in the build-up. Nunez is very, very different. He has a lot more attributes and an all-round game, I would say, than Haaland. So I think he can go right to the very top. I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to get there because there are still some very rough edges. But potentially, I think he can go all the way to be a top player.
Colin, we know he plays on the right. It is the main man, Mo Salah, breaking more European records. He is now the player who scored the most goals for an English team in Europe, overtaking Thierry Henry. He holds that record now as well. Every single goal he scores seems to be breaking records these days. But let's talk about that left-hand side, Colin. Jota has, I think, been very good when he's played. And he is, he reminds me a lot of, what Michael Owen used to be like. He could be quite quiet throughout the game, but then explode into life and grab you a goal. He is a goal scorer. Diaz, he's not as prolific as Jota. That's not his game. But who starts on that left-hand side? Or I suppose Gakpo could start on the left-hand side, but I think it would be one out of Diaz or Jota.
Yeah, I think it's Diaz. I think Diaz has been, although he hasn't necessarily contributed to the goals in a massive way, he does a lot of things that don't necessarily show up in a goals or assists stat sheet. He's dangerous all the time. He's always threatening to go past people, and I think he's more of someone you have to, again, back to this idea that I think we want to make teams really work, to really work for it, especially in the first half. I think we really want to make teams like absolutely earn. If it's 0-0 at halftime, we want to make sure that they're earning that. I find that Jota is so good off because he will pop up, and I think he's especially dangerous when teams are tired. He's easy to maybe lose in small spaces. He's really lethal with an in the 6-yard box finish. I like him off the bench as an option to be able to bring on. And I think being able to do that with, Jota and Gakpo, if there's 30 left and it's 1-0 or tied, heaven forbid. I think that those two make the most amount of sense off the bench. And I think Diaz really, because of his effort and his work rate, makes teams more tired on that side and makes them work harder.
Yeah, fine. Cool. Again, horses for courses. I think if you're looking for a goal, Jota is your man. If you're looking for someone to be more creative to wear the opposition down, Luis Diaz, Lucho wins that all day long. Right, final. You will need your pen and papers, by the way, on this one. Final round of the quiz then, before we go on to our match predictions and wrap it up for the night. Again, everybody else, please do play along as you are watching on this Saturday night in our match preview show, but please don't put the answers into the chat until the time is up. And I'm going to give you 90 seconds to do this. So I'm going to have like 90 seconds of filler content so that we're not just sitting here in awkward silence while the lads are scribbling down. Before Nottingham Forest came back into the Premier League, Liverpool did have an FA Cup game against them, but I want to go further back than that. The last time before Forest's revival in the Premier League, Liverpool played Nottingham Forest at Anfield on Saturday, the 24th of October, 1998. So again, think about who was in and around the squad in 1998, because what I need, there are 16 players who were named in the squad. There were only 5 substitutes back in the day. 16 players, the starting 11 plus the 5 substitutes. How many of the 16 players who were involved in October 1998 for Liverpool, who beat Forest 5-1 that day? Okay, so I will give everybody and again, the lads, 90 seconds to name as many of the 16 players who were involved in the Liverpool squad in October 1998. And your time starts now.
I feel like we need the countdown music on while this is going on.
Yeah, it's quite annoying though, that countdown music after a while. I use it quite a lot in school, and it does get a bit annoying. Yes, Booger Boy, I completely agree. This is quite a hard one. I think that, you know, it's one that the answers are obvious once you know them. If you think about the players in 1998, I think probably before Lou and Colin was even born, I think Neil was probably hitting his mid-20s. You were one. There you go. Neil was probably in his like mid-20s, I reckon, in 1998. But yeah, it is quite a difficult one. But as I said, you know, Liverpool beat Forest 5-1 that day. I'd probably take a 5-1, especially since I didn't put Tsimikas into my FPL tomorrow. A goal for Forest would do as well. Not for Liverpool, of course, but for my FPL team. You've had 1 minute, so you've got 30 seconds left. And we are going to have to wrap soon because the Rugby World Cup final's on. $15 seconds left. Thanks everyone for joining us on this Saturday night. I do really, really appreciate it, as we all do. And if you haven't already, give the channel a like and a subscribe as well. And Vase of Flowers was standing on the Kop aged 14 for that game. That is pretty phenomenal. Okay, time's up. It was a difficult one. I'm not expecting anyone to get 16, but let's see how many you have. So Lou, will go around the table again. Go with you.
9.
9, good score. Neil?
I've got 12 names written down, but I suspect they're not. They're
okay.
not all right.
Colin?
I think only 2 of the ones that I have might be correct. I think everybody else that I have is from a bit later.
Okay. We'll go with Neil then. Lou, tick yours off, and Colin, tick yours off as you go as well. And then hopefully if Neil gets a few wrong, because he might do. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I don't think he will. But if he gets a few wrong, then Lou and Colin, you might be able to sweep in. Okay. Right. Off you go, Neil.
So I'm going to go David James.
He was the starting goalie. Yep.
Robbie Fowler.
Yeah, he was. Do you know what? He was on the bench.
Patrick Berger.
Yeah, Patrick Berger was there, and he made 2 assists.
Steve McManaman.
Steve McManaman. He was substituted on the 78th minute.
Jamie Carragher.
Yeah, I think he was playing. He would have been playing centre back that game. Yeah.
Paul Ince.
Captain.
Karl-Heinz Riedler.
Karl-Heinz Riedler, yeah, made an assist as well.
Jamie Redknapp.
No, and not in the squad.
Must have been injured.
Probably injured.
Yeah. Now I'm guessing. Neil Ruddock.
Nope.
Jason McAteer.
He was, yeah.
I've got a couple of other names written down, but I don't think they're right. Danny Murphy.
Nope.
No. And Mark Wright.
No, I think that was probably just after Mark Wright's time, maybe. But no. So what was your final score, Neil?
9.
9. Good score. Right, Lou, what did you get all of those 9, or have you got any of us?
I've got 6. So I got McManaman, Carragher, James, Patrick Berger, Paul Ince, Jason McAteer.
Cool. Yeah. Who are your other 3?
So I've got Steven Gerrard.
No, and not in the squad. Maybe just before his breakthrough, perhaps. I don't know.
Michael Owen.
Yep. Michael Owen.
And then I got Stig Inge Bjornby.
Absolutely. The phenomenal left back that he was.
Emil Heskey.
Nope, not Emil.
So I've got 8.
8. Okay, Colin, which guys did you have?
So I actually ended up getting 4 correct. I thought
Okay.
the 2 I was sure of was Fowler and McManaman. And I thought it was before Carragher and Michael Owen, but I got both of those correct as well. And then I had, I could not remember David James's name. I could see his
Armani pictures.
Not those ones, but I could see his goalkeeper kits, which were like really phenomenally bad, but also great. But I could not remember his name. And then I had Stevie written down, but I thought it might have been before. So that was my list.
Yeah. No, yeah, Michael Owen did score 4 goals, Paul. You are absolutely right. He scored 4 goals, and Maka got the other one as well. So the starting lineup was James, Vegard Hegum, Steve Staunton, Jamie Carragher, Stigging, Bjornaby, and then I think you all got the rest. McAteer, McManaman, Berger, Ince, Owen, Riedel. On the bench, I can't believe you didn't get like the most unused but amazing goalkeeper, especially you, Colin, Brad Friedel, on the bench.
Oh,
I didn't
Bjorn
know if
Torn Kava.
oh,
Yeah, Bjorn Torn Kavama, Steve Harkness, David Thompson, who came on for Steve McManaman on the 78th minute, and Robbie Fowler didn't even get on. So, yeah, there we go. Unbelievable. So there we go. All right. So I think Neil probably just snatches it from Lou, who's really annoyed that he didn't get the Friedel shout.
happy I got Bjornby. I won't lie. I was well made up with that.
The
Friedel's
original
the first
Stig.
American to play for Liverpool, isn't he?
I would probably say so.
Friedel.
Yeah.
I assume so.
I thought in my head, I thought he was slightly before this on the team, but 98, I kind of lost in between teams here.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, and listen, everyone else in the chat who put those in, really well done as well, because there are some difficult names there to remember. Steve Harkness, funnily enough, when I went to go and watch Liverpool Inter Milan live in the Pirelli Cup, the dizzy heights of the Pirelli Cup, he was a player who I saw score live the first Liverpool goal. So I always remember Steve Harkness. What a lad! Very well done for everybody as well. Right, listen, before we go on, because like I said, the Rugby World Cup's on. I want to go and watch it. Tell me predictions for tomorrow. Lou, let's go with you first.
Said it on Redman yesterday. I think it's going to be 3-1. I think Salah's going to get 2, and I think Soboslai as well. I think he's going to. I've just got a weird feeling. I feel like he's going to get 1.
Yeah. All right. Well, he only scores worldies though, so it's going to have to be a worldie. Neil,
It's fine.
I'm going to go 3-0. And I'm going to back my man Darwin Nunez to score 2. And I can't believe that Mo Salah won't score, so I think he'll get the other one.
nice. Colin,
I'm thinking 4-0. Goals. I could see another Gravenberch goal. I think Salah gets at least 1, and then I'm thinking 1 or 2 off the maybe 2 off the bench. So Jota with 1, and maybe Gakpo with another.
okay, fine. Well, I can't go the same score, so I'll go 4-1, which would be an ideal score. Mainly because I don't want a Liverpool clean sheet for the FPL. I know sacrilege as to say, but Liverpool will win quite comfortably. Hopefully Salah gets a couple. I can see Nunez getting 1, and let's go for the first time Alexis McAllister, because he definitely, if anybody deserves a goal, I really wish that man would get a goal, considering the shift that he's put in. A little bit of extra time then. 1 from Jay. Kanate or Matip for tomorrow. Very simply, Lou, who are you going with?
Nate.
Sorry, what was that?
Nate. I think Nate starts this one.
Kanate.
Yeah.
Okay. Neil?
I don't mind who starts. I think Matip's been playing quite well, but I think it'll be Kanate.
Okay. Colin?
I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to think Matip starts. They're going to play a low block. I think maybe he's getting a little worried about Kanate and a yellow card, or might have a red in him here or there. Yeah, I'll go with Matip.
Yeah, do you know what? I think I'll even it up and I'll go Matip as well, because we've obviously got Bournemouth in the cup, haven't we, on Wednesday, and that'll be quite a nice win for us, hopefully, again on Wednesday night. So maybe we'll split the starting centre backs and we'll play Canate and Gomez and then Matip and Van Dijk. Who knows? But again, like Neil said, it's one of those that actually I'm quite happy if either starts. If one started over the other, I certainly wouldn't be throwing my telly out of the window. And the last one, I suppose, no, is my answer there. Okay, so no, I don't think England will win another game at the World Cup. I think they're probably all but given up. All right. Thank you all very, very much for joining all of us all. It has been a blast on this Saturday night. And hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've done well on the quiz. And if not, you might just go away, walking, talking about some things you didn't already know. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Okay. Jay's called us the panel MVP this week. All right, so that's very, very kind of you. Thank you very much. We will be putting that in the chat, lads. Someone take a quick picture of that, and then we'll wind everyone else up, all the hosts in the chat, because that goes a long way. Thank you all so much for joining us. We've been LFC Transfer Room. Up the Reds, as always. Another win tomorrow. Take care. Bye.